Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to our live stream. My name is Nicole Lim, and I'm a caring pharmacist. Before we begin, here is a little snippet of what we're going to talk about today. So actually, what we're going to say today is about itching scalp, and this is a common problem. It's more common than we think. Of course, some of you are experiencing this problem as well. And in this session, what we're going to do is debunk the myths of itchy scalp and answer some frequently asked questions from our audience and also visitors. Do share this live stream to whom you know are experiencing this problem, whether it be itchy, dry, or sensitive scalp. And do stay to the end of this video because there will be a special promo code just for you. Before we do this, let me introduce our guest. He is a co-founder of the company called Suu Balm. If you have any questions regarding scalp issues, be it dry, itchy, sensitive, shoot your questions in the comment box and he will answer them for you. Without further ado, let us welcome our guest, Dr. John O'Shea. Hi, Dr. John.
Hi, Nicole, and hello to all of our listeners. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for being here with us today. I heard you're in Singapore. How is it over there?
Yes, I am stuck in Singapore. I would love to be in KL with you guys now, but unfortunately, of course, in these times, we still can't really travel. So I'm stuck in Singapore. But thankfully, everything is settling down here. Okay, the weather is terrible here today, but aside from that, the COVID situation is improving, thankfully. So fingers crossed, it continues to get better, and soon I'll be able to come back to Malaysia and enjoy the wonderful makan, yeah?
Well, it's great that we can connect to each other this way. So
exactly.
Actually, Dr. John, recently we have many customers actually asking us about itchy scalp. And do you mind to share with us what are the possible causes of all these scalp issues?
Right. Well, the first thing is to reassure anybody listening who has an itchy or dry scalp that this is incredibly common. So don't feel like you're the only person out there and that you need to suffer in silence. Right? There are lots of people with this condition just like you out there. But it's complicated. There's actually a lot of different things that could cause your scalp to get itchy. So let me try and explain some of the common ones. Sometimes we have a condition that's affecting our scalp. So some of the common conditions, of course, we've all heard of dandruff, right? Dandruff is incredibly common. I've had it myself. As a teenager, I had it. And I found it very, very embarrassing. At school, other kids would comment on the flakes on your shoulder and stuff like that. It was very embarrassing. Dandruff is very common. It makes the scalp flaky and it can also get itchy. Now, there's another condition called, a very medical name here, seborrheic dermatitis, which don't worry about the complicated name. This is basically a very extreme form of dandruff where you get not just the flaking and maybe the dryness, the itching, but you have something called inflammation. Now, inflammation is our body's reaction to something that's annoying it. It might be whatever, but something's annoying, in this case, the scalp, and so it gets red, and you can see it in the picture here. It's very flaky, very, very itchy, and very frustrating and difficult to live with. So seborrheic dermatitis is also actually very common, particularly in men, actually, more so than women. But there are other conditions, also still common, eczema. Eczema is incredibly common. A lot of our kids have eczema, suffer with eczema. It's very common in the younger age groups, but people forget that it's also common in adults, and it can affect the scalp, in particular around the area basically where your hair and your skin meet. So here you've got a picture of it behind somebody's ear. These are the kind of areas that can often be affected by eczema. Eczema is dry, it's itchy, it's red. It comes in these flare-ups, so it comes and goes. And then the last one I'll mention is a condition called psoriasis. Again, another kind of complicated medical term. It's not quite as common as eczema, but for those affected by it, it's a big issue in their life, and it frequently affects the scalp. Now, here you see a picture of it. Again, it's flaky, it's dry, it's red, and it's also kind of thickened. So if you touch the area, you might feel it's kind of thicker than that. So these are some of the common conditions, and I hope you haven't fallen asleep yet, because there's more, okay? There's more to share. It's not just conditions that can cause a dry, flaky, or itchy scalp. Sometimes it is the things we do ourselves that can contribute to the problem. So let's say I use if I've got sensitive or kind of delicate skin on my scalp, if I use a shampoo that contains ingredients that are a bit harsher or more irritating, it can dry out my scalp and cause it to itch and flake. Now, one of the common ingredients is something called SLS. That stands for sodium lauryl sulfate. It's a very common cleansing agent in body washes and shampoos and everything. You'll see it all over the place. It works very well for cleaning. Okay, so it's good in that way, but if I've got more sensitive skin, it can irritate and dry it out, actually. So, if your skin tends towards being dry, your scalp will be the same. So use a shampoo and conditioner that are ideally specifically for sensitive or dry skin, but don't necessarily trust the label that says that. Actually, you sometimes need to go and check the ingredients, right? You have to become your own expert in the ingredients in it. So maybe avoid things like SLS. SLES is another ingredient. And then there's one called cocamidopropyl-betaine. Now, don't ask me to say that twice. Very complicated. But these are some. You can Google all of this as well, okay? The information is online.
Okay, so we actually, sorry, Dr. John.
Yeah, go for it.
There is an audience who's from T. Chuyon. He actually asked, may I know what caused itchy scalp problem and how to avoid this from happening?
Okay, so let me add one last thing. So I said there's some conditions that can cause itchy, dry scalp. Sometimes it might be the shampoo or conditioner we're using. The third thing might be the frequency with which we wash our hair or how we wash our hair. So too frequent, not good. Very infrequently, also not good. And the second thing is that after washing our hair, we should really make sure that we dry our scalp thoroughly before we leave the house. Because in Singapore and Malaysia, it's hot and humid outside. If our scalp and hair is still damp, fungi absolutely love this. Now, they're normally on our scalp and our skin, but they overgrow if we give them the right opportunity. So if I don't wash my hair enough, and I leave it damp when I do wash it and go outside into the hot, humid weather, the fungi love this and they grow, and will give me an itchy scalp at the end of the day. So what can we do about these things? Well, if it's one of the first things, a condition, I might need to go to you, Nicole, and ask for your advice about, maybe some medicated shampoos or this to treat it. I might need to go to a doctor, my GP or a dermatologist to get help if it's more severe. If it's a question of the shampoo that I'm using, I might need to try some different shampoos, right?
Okay, Dr. John, Nur Shuhaida actually has a question where she's asked, if you wash hair every day, if you wash our hair every day, doesn't it trigger the hair to become dry?
It can, yeah. And the right frequency actually varies from person to person, okay? And it varies even from the country. Let me give you an example. So I'm obviously not from Singapore originally, okay, right? I'm Irish originally. In Ireland, the climate is cold. It's not so nice. Okay. In Ireland, I used to find that if I washed my hair every day, it got very dry and flaky. But in Singapore, I found that if I didn't wash it every day, it got itchy and red. Okay, so the fungal, it was too infrequent. So you actually have to work this out a little bit yourself. If you find every day makes your scalp dry, try every second day.
Okay. So I understand that to solve a problem, we always need to identify the problem. So I really love the referencing that you did with the pictures earlier. So we can see that, itchy scalp and also dandruff symptoms, they're all different. Like even in my pharmacy alone, when customers come by, it can be really difficult to differentiate between the two conditions. But thanks to you, I have better confidence. So there are some people who also believe that all these sensitive, dry, itching scalp can lead to hair loss. And some of my customers actually lost some self-confidence, unfortunately, because of this. Like, what is your take about this, Dr. John?
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge concern, right, for all of us. And of course, as we get older, this tends to happen sometimes automatically, unfortunately. But we want to try and hold on to as much hair as we can for as long as we can, right? Nobody wants to be, especially when you're younger, to be losing hair. Now, dandruff in itself won't necessarily cause you to lose hair. So I want to give some reassurance on this. But I do have to say that if you have one of the more severe conditions like the seborrheic dermatitis, like the psoriasis or eczema, these conditions all have that inflammation, the redness, the kind of irritation on the skin that you can see, or that you can get somebody else to look at, whether it's you in the pharmacy, Nicole, or your doctor, or even your family member. If it's very red and angry looking like that, you need to get control of that, because inflammation can lead to hair loss. Okay. But the good news is, if you stop the inflammation, you reduce the risk of hair loss. So there is something you can do about it. So don't sit still. Go and get advice and do something, okay?
That's good to know. Actually, Sindhu has a question for you. She asked, how can we differentiate dandruff and contact dermatitis?
Yeah, okay, that's a good question. I mean, it's pretty difficult. At the end of the day, a contact dermatitis on your scalp will make it dry, it will make it red, it will make it itchy. Dandruff, it tends to be flaky and sometimes itchy. It's often not very red on the scalp necessarily, and the flakes are fine. You'll see it on your shoulder, you'll see it in the hair. But it can be difficult. So often you need to go and ask somebody, right, for advice. And that might be at the pharmacy. So you go in, hopefully you meet somebody knowledgeable like Nicole, which I know you will at Caring. Or you go to your doctor and you ask them to check it for it. Or, of course, sometimes we shouldn't forget our hairdressers, okay? We all go to the hairdresser and get our hair cut. And actually, they are really looking at it, right, for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, however long it takes to cut and style our hair. And often, in fact, I remember, my own hairdresser saying, oh, by the way, your scalp is looking a little red, a little inflamed. You should think about changing the frequency of your hair washing. So, that was great advice for me. But look, it can be difficult to tell the difference. So please ask somebody for advice. And then, like you said, Nicole, if you know what's causing it, then you can start to look for the right solution.
So I'm sure the viewers are eager to know, what are your recommendations to treat all these scalp issues?
Okay, so again, I'll try and break this down into the different groups. If you have one of the more serious medical conditions, you may find that you need a prescription from your doctor to really control the condition. So I'm talking about things like eczema, psoriasis, the seborrheic dermatitis. These are often managed maybe with some steroid that's applied directly to the scalp. It might also involve a medicated shampoo. So, if it's one of those more severe things, you may need a medical advice and a prescription to help control it. But if it's more on the dandruff end of the scale, or like the contact dermatitis, like our viewer just asked about, then you can possibly manage this at home by just going to the pharmacy, getting the advice on what products to get, and then managing it at home. So, of course, we think about what shampoo we're using. We think about how often we're using it. So, as I said, try to avoid ingredients like SLS and those that might dry the scalp. But then, so at our company, Subum, we partnered with a dermatologist at a place called the National Skin Center in Singapore. Now, the National Skin Center is a dermatology-only hospital, right? It's super specialized in dermatology. And whether that's looking after the scalp, the face skin, or wherever, all skin issues. One of the doctors there, his name is Dr. Tae Hong Liang. He runs a clinic to help people with dry, itchy conditions of the skin and the scalp. And he actually developed a product that would help with the symptoms of these conditions. So I'm talking about something to stop the itching, something to stop the dryness, and something to help stop the flaking that's associated with these conditions. So just to recap, look, very severe, you might need something from your doctor, a prescription. If it's milder, you need maybe something for the symptoms, and I'll tell you more about our product in a minute, as well as maybe looking at the shampoo you're using and how frequently you're using it.
Okay, well, thank you for the great advice, doctor. So I've actually heard about your Subum Scalp spray as well, and I heard that it contains menthol and ceramide. So is that what you were trying to talk about as well, the part where it combats itch and also moisturize?
Exactly. So I can see on your screen you have it beside you, and this is also the one here. It's in this kind of navy box, and inside it looks like this. And I'll show you how to use it in a second. But yeah, let me share a little about the ingredients that Dr. Tae has chosen for this product. And you'll notice I keep on saying Dr. Tae because it's actually, I mean, yes, you know, the Suu Balm, this is a product you can buy in the pharmacy, but it's a little bit unusual and different from other products that you find on the shelf because it's coming from a public hospital here in Singapore. An expert dermatologist is actually choosing, you know, what problems to try to solve and how to solve them. So what ingredients to put inside. You know, he frankly doesn't listen to us. If I say, Dr. Tae, could we make, you know, a moisturizer? He'd say, no, John, you know, that's not what my patients need. My patients need a scalp spray that will stop itch. So what is it that stops itch? Well, it's something very simple and old-fashioned even, called menthol. So menthol comes from the mint plant, right? So it's a natural ingredient. It's been used for hundreds of years to relieve itch. The trick in the Suu Balm scalp spray is that we only use a very small amount, okay? A small amount of menthol is cooling on the skin. This cooling sensation actually triggers the nerves in your skin and it stops the itch. And it works super quick. Okay, within a couple of minutes, the itch goes away. So it's old-fashioned, but it is very, very useful and effective at stopping itch. So menthol is what stops the itch. And then you mentioned ceramide. So what are these ceramide things? Well, ceramides are an ingredient that is actually normally present in your skin. But when your skin gets dry, and particularly when it's been dry for like a week or more, the level of ceramide in your skin actually goes down. Okay? And this is important because you can think of ceramide as like the glue that holds the cells at the outer layer of your skin together. Okay, it's what's keeping you together. It's holding us all together. The ceramides in the outer layer of the skin. But they, as I said, they are depleted when your skin gets dry. So the ceramide in the spray actually helps to restore what's missing and repair what we call the skin barrier or the scalp barrier, that outer layer of the skin. And Dr. Tae insists on using what's called a skin identical ceramide. So that is, you see a lot of brands do advertise ceramides. The important thing is that they are skin identical type. That means that they're exactly the same shape as what's normally in your skin. So they slot in perfectly and actually help to repair the skin barrier. Now, I know we have a question, but I want to mention one more ingredient before we go to the question. Is Dr. Tae also got us to include an ingredient called pyroxenolamine. Okay, again, long, complicated chemical name. But actually what this is it helps to stop the fungus growing on our scalp, which contributes to the flaking. So alongside the right shampoo, it helps to control the flaking element of it. So, okay, I'll stop there. Let's address the question.
many people who are very interested in it. So actually, one of them is from Dave Ting. He asked, can her baby use it? She is actually 6 months now.
Right. Okay. To be honest, this spray, I mean, the scalp spray is more designed for an older audience. So like adolescent or older. So around 12, 13 plus. At the baby age, we also have creams that contain menthol in the Suu Balm range. And one of them is for kids. It's called Suu Balm Kids. We still recommend actually the kids cream at that age because it has a little bit less menthol, which is less cooling, but that's exactly right for that age group. Okay, the scalp spray is a little bit strong for that age group. So we think of the scalp spray more for adolescents and adults with itch. Now, unfortunately, there's still a lot of adolescents and adults suffering with itch, but just for Dave's advice, maybe you could try the cream. You'll also find it at Caring if you go in and ask.
Okay. So I see that menthol and ceramide, they are just a lovely combination, and it's great that both are just natural ingredients. And even at the pharmacy, we also tell customers that gentle shampoos are more effective than also medicated or normal shampoos, especially for these issues. So before that, I actually have a very important question for you, Dr. John. But before we get there, let me just say that to win away one of these scalp sprays, to all the audience, all you have to do is just answer the question pinned in the comment box. And the question is, just list one of the natural ingredients found in Suu Balm products. And remember to hashtag Caring Pharmacy and hashtag Suu Balm in your answer. And we will then select and also personally message the winner after this session. Do not forget also to like, share, and tag 3 of your friends to increase your chances of winning. Okay, back to you, Dr. John. The important question is...
I think actually there was a question that I'm not sure we answered, which was about oily scalp.
Oh yes, I saw that.
So maybe we should also oily scalp. Sometimes oily scalp can be a kind of like, try not to use a medical word, like something that comes before a seborrheic dermatitis. If you have oily scalp or skin, you're actually more prone to the seborrheic dermatitis condition. So, but really, just an oily scalp on its own, you don't necessarily actually need to do anything about it if it's not bothering you. Okay, so the question is it bothering you? Is it itchy? Is it flaking? Then if it's itching and flaking, okay, time to do something. You can use the Suu Balm scalp spray for the itch and the flaking, and then you could have your pharmacist or your doctor check and see, do you need anything further to help that.
Okay, and the Subum Scout spray, right? We have a question from Ms. Tay. Is it safe for pregnant mummies?
Yes, it is actually. So all of the products in our range are safe for pregnant ladies to use. So, I know there's a lot of skin and scalp conditions that appear during pregnancy. There is one piece of good news, which is most of them will go away when you deliver your baby. Okay, so there is not just the joy of a new baby, but there is the joy of not having the skin condition anymore. It is safe to use, and all of the ingredients that we use in the scalp spray, like all our products, are what are called cosmetic grade ingredients. So they're extremely safe ingredients that we can use on our skin, whether we're pregnant or not. In fact, our products are also recommended at many of the maternity wards in hospitals because we know that all of these skin conditions and scalp conditions in pregnancy are often very, very itchy. And of course, you can't eat a tablet because most of those are not recommended in pregnancy. So it's great to have something that you can use to stop the itch.
That's great. And actually, because of all these scalp sprays, one of the more famous questions that I always get is, if there is an open wound on our scalp, is it recommended to still use the scalp spray? Will it sting?
Okay. Good question. Yes. Now, of course, if you have an open wound on your scalp, what does it mean? It means you've been scratching like crazy, right? And we need to help you somehow because you must be really, really suffering with itch if you're scratching until it bleeds and there's a wound. So once it's very bad like that, there's a wound on the scalp, of course, anything, even the water from the shower stings, right? So what we advise with the scalp spray is don't spray it directly onto that wound. That will sting, like you say, and like even the shower will sting. So spray it around. So let's say, the wound is right here. Don't spray it there and spray it on the other side. That will still actually help to relieve the itch, but it won't sting quite as much. Now, there's a neat little trick actually you can use for the wound is you can put just a little bit of simple Vaseline on the wound, and it helps it to kind of heal underneath without getting all stingy and irritated and maybe even infected. Now, if you have a wound there and you're worried it's infected, go down to the pharmacy, ask them to have a look and advise you, or go to your family doctor and ask for advice. You might need a prescription ointment if it's infected.
That's actually a great tip, doctor. I didn't know about that. So next time I know what to tell my customers. That's very handy.
It's a very handy tip.
Yeah. Really. So, like, regarding your Subum Scout spray, how many times do we actually have to use it to get optimal results? And should I spray it on my finger and then use it on my scalp?
Yeah. Okay. These are very sensible questions, and I haven't kind of explained how do we use this product. Yeah. Actually, following on a little bit from the question about is it safe for pregnancy? Because it is very safe in that sense. All of the ingredients are very safe. You can actually use it as often as you want during the day. So the idea of, you can. I'm trying to give you an idea of how big this is. My head is not huge, but you can kind of see that this bottle is quite small still. Okay, so you can bring this with you to work, or if you're still at school or whatever, you bring it with you and you use it as often as you need during the day to control your itch. Okay, so let's say to begin with, I might spray twice, 3 times, and let's say that stops the itch. Great. Now, menthol doesn't last forever. Okay, it lasts normally a couple of hours, so the itch might come back. When it does, you just spray again. Okay, maybe once, maybe twice, no problem. There's no limit. If it comes back, you spray again. Okay, the idea is that you use it whenever you're itchy. And the trick with using it is, so you see at the tip here, there's a little nozzle here. Okay, the idea of the nozzle is that it goes through my hair onto the scalp, and then I spray. Okay, let me try and do it I'll try and get a good angle. Spray. Okay, spray. And I can either massage it in, or I can, I'm going to do this like that, or actually I don't even have to. As soon as I spray it there, in fact, I'm already feeling the cooling sensation. And even though my scalp wasn't itchy before this, actually it's a lovely calming, cooling sensation that you get on your scalp. And it's actually that's coming from the menthol, and that's what's stopping the itch, the cooling sensation. So super quick and very easy to use. Okay, I see we have another question.
Yeah. So Noor feels like actually asked, how long does she need to use the scalp spray to actually recover?
Okay, that's another excellent question. I think it depends. Terrible answer. It depends. Okay. So, but before you get frustrated with me, what does it depend on? Well, it depends on what is causing the itch in the first place. Okay. If it's something milder, like some dandruff, that you may, with the right shampoo and with the Subum scalp spray, it might be controlled in a couple of days, right? So it might be very quick. If it's something like a psoriasis that you've been battling for many years and you've tried lots of different treatments with your dermatologist, look, that's a much more difficult situation. It might take longer to control. But these things, for most people, tend to come and go a little bit. So for one period, they'll be worse, then it gets a little bit better, then it might get worse again. Eczema is very like that. So you might find you have to use it for a week or two, then things get better. Okay, maybe a couple of months later it might come back, but fingers crossed it doesn't, okay? And your relief lasts.
Okay, thank you for the great sharing. Another thing is like, what does Suu Balm possess that makes it so different from other products here in the market?
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, the interesting thing, I'm going to talk about Dr. Tay a little bit here again. So, the reason Dr. Tay decided to create this product was that he couldn't find something to recommend to his patients, and this was the challenge that was frustrating him. You know, he said, like, I mean, you know, all of these people suffering with itch and dryness and flaking, and yet I don't have something that is very quick to stop the itch and something that is easy to use on the scalp, right? So that's why he set about making the product, because he really didn't find anything available to him. So it's quite unique in that sense. And this combination of menthol and ceramides and the peroptone oleamine in a sprayable format, you know, that, as I said, you can get right to the area that itches. That's very unique. You know, for your listeners, for your viewers, give it a try. You'll find it at Caring. Nicole will advise you how to use it and where to find it.
Yeah, actually similar to Dr. Tay, I had a really hard time trying to get products that help with just itching scalp that are all natural. So we have a question from Celine. She actually said that can it be used as a maintenance product even after she has recovered?
Okay, yeah, excellent question, Celine. Yes, it can. In fact, you know, what we've found, I think, since launching this product is not only do some people continue to use it afterwards as effectively more like a moisturizer for their scalp, because it's very light and it's not greasy. So if I touch my hair there, it's actually it's dry already. And you know, I only sprayed that a couple of minutes ago. It's dry already. It's not greasy, so it doesn't. Hopefully, my hair still looks good. So it doesn't. I did it wrong way. It doesn't leave it greasy, so you can actually continue to use it as a moisturizer. You know, I might just remind you that. So, when would I use it? Something I didn't cover is that. So, if I've just had a shower, I've washed my hair. You know, maybe shampoo plus minus conditioner. First thing, most important thing is get the scalp dry. Okay, it might be towel drying it might be a little bit of blow drying as well. Make sure it's dry. Then apply the scalp spray, okay, to moisturize or to relieve itch. So make sure it's dry first. That's important. But so Celine, yes, you can continue to use it as maintenance. We even have some of our users decide that they use it, they like the feeling on their skin, right? They don't even use it on their scalp. They use it on their body as well. Okay, so look, that's fine. Okay, it's appropriate for use anywhere. It's designed for the scalp, but feel free to continue to use it after as maintenance, and even if you've got itch elsewhere too.
Okay, thank you, Doctor, for your great sharing. To all the audience who are joining us halfway, you actually can win one of these. All you have to do is just answer the question pinned in the comment box. Please include the hashtag Suu Balm and also hashtag Caring Pharmacy. To increase your chances of winning, you can like, share, and tag the post with 3 of your friends. So we are going to move on to our Q&A session right now. So okay. We have one.
Exactly, I have a question. Yes, already to start us off.
Yes, we already have one. So many. So I may actually ask, Dr. John, is it okay for all skin conditions? Like my son, sometimes his scalp gets rashes when using other products. He has never tried this one before, but do you think it'll be fine?
It should be. I mean, it is when rashes when you use a product would tend to suggest you might either be getting a contact dermatitis, like somebody mentioned earlier. What is contact dermatitis? It's a rash that happens after exposure to some ingredient. You know, it can be hard actually to identify the ingredient sometimes. But so if of course, if you try a shampoo and it's giving you rashes, please stop and change to something else. Maybe ask at the pharmacy what's really, really, really gentle. And then, if it's itchy, dry, flaking, the scalp spray, the Subum scalp spray will help with all of that. Give it a try. Now, look, I'll be honest, of course, there is no product that works for 100% of people. I'm confident it works for most people, but please, Amir, don't be upset with me if it doesn't work for you, okay? But I think it's worth trying. I think it's worth trying.
And Bummer also asks, after I spray, will it affect my hairstyle?
Okay, so no is the answer. It's a water-based product. Okay, so it doesn't leave the scalp or the hair oily or greasy. As you saw, I sprayed it on my scalp. I think my hair looks pretty much the same as it did when we started. And that was the way we designed it, because we know that, of course, and particularly not just the ladies, but the guys as well, you know, they like their hair to look good throughout the day. And so we don't want any barrier to using this. So it's very light, non-greasy, water-based. So shouldn't upset your lovely hairdo.
That's great. There is also one from Nilfilza. Other than the Subum Scout spray, is there any natural remedies that she can try?
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, our spray isn't 100% natural by any means. Okay. And let me explain why that is a little. Like many people, I think, and particularly in the last couple of months with COVID and everything, it's been a real reminder of, you know, the importance of our health, how valuable our health is. In English, we have a phrase: "Your health is your wealth." It's not the cash; it's your health. And you know, I've personally been trying to, you know, eat better, cook at home, try maybe use organic ingredients. They're expensive, but you know, try to use the best. But when it comes to, let's say, a skin cream or the body wash that I use, what I actually try to choose, and what Dr. Tay is very focused on, is for people with skin conditions, so dry or itchy or sensitive skin or scalp, it's the choice of ingredient that is the most important thing. So I need to use products that have ingredients that are not likely to irritate. Sometimes those ingredients will be natural, sometimes they won't. Okay, they'll be synthetic is the other type of ingredient. But in a way that doesn't, like, a lot of people think synthetic is bad in a cosmetic ingredients. Actually, it's not. Sometimes natural can be bad for our skin, actually. There are natural ingredients that can actually really irritate our skin. If you've ever, in Western countries, you have these plant called a nettle. Okay, it grows like a weed. If you grab it, it stings like crazy. Okay, it burns you. It's natural, but it's not good for your skin. Okay, I understand the motivation to try to use something that's very good and gentle for the skin, and I agree with that. But the important thing is to actually prioritize something that will not irritate our skin. So sometimes it's synthetic, sometimes it's natural. But for our products, we only choose things that are not likely to irritate. So, and they tend to be very gentle ingredients. Now, what other natural things can I do? Of course, depending on the condition, you know, you might find that your condition is made worse by certain things that you eat. You know, so you may find that making adjustments to your diet is a very kind of natural way of helping these things. Of course, there are other, you know, menthol products that you might, a menthol shampoo maybe, you know, will also help with itchiness. So you can have a look at what's available, but really check that the ingredients are appropriate for sensitive skin, because some extracts from plants, even though we're well intentioned with trying them and using them, they can just be irritating to a sensitive skin, unfortunately.
Thank you, Doctor, for sharing your knowledge and handy tips. I guess we're running out of time, so I think that's the end of our session. But as promised at the beginning, here is a promo code pinned at the comment box below. You can actually use it to purchase Subum Scout Spray from Caring eStore, and you can get a 20 ringgit off. So before we end this session, Doctor, do you have any advice for viewers tuning into our live stream right now?
Okay, well, I think the one piece of advice I would give is don't, if you are having any problems, and sometimes it can be embarrassing, right? If my scalp is itchy and flaking, you know, and marking my clothes, it can be embarrassing, right? You may not want to talk about it with your family or go and ask for advice, but please put that aside for a minute and go to your Caring pharmacy. You'll meet somebody lovely like Nicole who will give you good advice on how to manage this. Don't suffer in silence. Don't be sitting there scratching and itching and being embarrassed in silence. Please just go and ask for help and get fixed. Okay, don't suffer.
Thank you for joining us, Dr. John, and thank you for all the viewers who are tuning in right now. So
yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So kindly remember to like our Caring Facebook page and share this live stream with your family and friends. Till we meet again. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you, Nicole. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.